Alrighty, so we finally got a big parts order come in for the VU that we're about to start on. We can do a bit of an unboxing on some of the stuff we've ordered, talk about what we're going to do to get started, and hopefully this week the boys can actually put some spanners on this VU and get somewhere with it. So yeah, just a quick unboxing of what we have ordered and we'll look into that. Pretty well, this whole order has come from Rocket Industries. At the moment we do have another order coming from Haltech. I'm just waiting for that to arrive, and once it gets here we'll touch on that as well. We've already had a handful of bits show up. So we've got just the ARP balancer bolt. The engine didn't have an ARP in it. New balancer. It already had a pretty decent balancer on it, but it is a LS1 style, so it's quite far forward. We've gone with a VE style, which is going to set it back a lot for engine bay room. And once you sort of see what we do with our water pump and stuff, you'll understand a bit better. Got an alternator, the alternator bracket from Heavy Metal Garage, I think it was. We've used a couple of these now. They're a really good piece, so we won't pull it all open now, but once we put the car together, you'll get to have a look at that, and that's a really good kit. It's so hot in here at the moment because I've got the fan off, so I'm just going to sweat, otherwise you won't hear me. This I've been pretty excited to see. So this is a V-band adapter. This fits up over the top of your Aeroflow throttle body and it converts it to a V-band. So that's a pretty cool product. I've actually been pretty eager to see this arrive and keen to see it fitted up. Universal handbrake cable from Aeroflow. This car has most of a Willwood handbrake set up, but it is missing the cable. Ethanol fuel stabilizer. That's not really for the build. We're going to keep it on the shelf now. Set of main bearings for a Falcon we're building. A whole heap of fittings, silver, everything's going to be silver or shiny. One radiator hose, we'll make a hose out of it. Assembly oil, just we'll lower on until we reorder. Oh yeah, that's one box. Get the other box, which is a lot bigger and heavier. We'll see what's in it. Alright, so second box, jammed full of stuff. I can't even remember what's in here. Got some stuff for the shop as well. So Aeroflow engine bags, so we can cover our engines up while we're building them. I cut the first one by accident, that's awesome. Throttle cable for LS1. This is the tape that's used for cutting the braided hose. Ordered a heap of t-shirts, so we can have shirts in our showroom. Just thought that would be a cool thing to do. So I did get some for my son. They do toddler sizes as well, which is awesome. Super excited about that. Huge radiator fittings, dash 20s. The biggest I think I've ever seen used in person. Clamps that we're going to be using for the intercooler. This one should clamp onto our throttle body adapter. This will go from the intercooler to the cooler pipe, and the turbo side will have one as well. Stubby coolers, small merch and stuff to have because it looks cool and people like it and seem to buy it. Heaps of fittings, new set of soft jaws for the vise for when we make these fittings. A new shifter, just so everything's new and we don't scratch anything. Dipstick delete plug. Not sure if we'll use this or a Welsh plug. Seen it for a couple bucks, so I just grabbed it. The engine has the block dipstick tube drilled in the sump one, so we'll decide which one we want to use and block the other one. Four huge fittings. I feel like I've ordered too many of the wrong size. It's annoying. So we call those coil pack harnesses. That's actually for another build we're doing. Some tube to make intercooler pipes out of. Two of them. Here's another cool thing, ethanol content testers. If you want to test the content of your ethanol in our local fuel, if you're ever unsure, we can test it now. You can come purchase these kits and use them yourself if you like. Big air filter, that's actually for another build as well, it's not for this. Belly cover, not really necessary, but this has a standard one in there now. It doesn't really look pretty, and part of this build is to make it look pretty. Once we're finished with this project, it'll go to a few shows and then it is going to be sold. The customer wants to make sure it's a decent build. Whoever buys it gets a good car in the end. Like this. Never bought so much that it comes in a box. Yeah, wow. 30 meters of dash 6. We've got quite a few projects coming up, so kind of beneficial for us just to order an entire roll. Looks like a lot now I'm looking at it, but anyway, whatever, we've got it. Yeah, that's a lot. I've never had that much. And 15 meters of dash 8 in the 200 series Teflon. We only use Teflon, overkill for so many things, but you can really count on it. Another 15 meters of dash 8, so 30 meters of dash 8. Wow. Pliers for cutting the braided lines. Wherever we can, we make a point of not using a grinder in the shop. Just don't need sparks and metal dust flying around. Any way we can improve on not using it, we do. Alrighty, so that's a pretty good little haul apart. Whole heap of stuff here, but not for the build again. Like I said, we've got other builds happening. Heap of stubby coolers, shirts, consumables and stuff for building engines in the shop. Stuff to finish off multiple other projects we have going on, which you guys will get to see. Procam actually make these awesome end plates for the engines as well. Super cool. Sort of just bolt on here, makes everything look nice. So we got a set of them from Crocams, an old school kind of alternator in black that we thought would look really good. Yeah, we'll get started on this build pretty soon. You know, it's up on the hoist here, ready to go. Another build underneath it, top secret. Finally gonna get to do something with this VU. Sort of been organising parts, planning the build and trying to find a time to do it. It's a pretty big project, hard to get everything to align. Sort of start on it and do it seamlessly without heaps of like start, stop stuff. Pick like a task, you know, engine, and sort of do it start to finish. We don't want to be waiting on parts, have things pulled apart everywhere. Just want to get stuck in and just get to it. We're going to pull the engine down now, check the condition of it because it's been sitting for so long. We've got to measure the bore. Once we know the bore size, we can order our head gaskets. The owner of the vehicle is taking some of the shiny parts away. He's going to polish them up, bring them back to us, keep Haltech stuff coming. Check it out. We'll pull this thing apart and we'll see what's in there. Josh might have mentioned something about this at one stage. It's an important part, but it's just been put in wrong. It doesn't even look good. Reuse what we can to make something a little better work. For some reason, there's a ping pong ball with $50 written on it. Really don't know why. Alright, let's see if there's a reason for these big valve covers. There we go. So yeah, tell me in the comments what you think. This lifter, like the bucket's kinda, it's been sitting on the valve spring for so long, it's kinda compressed and not returning. I think, you know, we'd probably pump up with hydraulic pressure, no worries, but I don't know, initial startup might not be super friendly. I'm not really sure when it happened, but that GoPro is flat and this GoPro has been overheating. The battery's like stuck in there now and it's just a whole thing. Anyway, the reason we pulled this apart is with the borescope we noticed that whatever it is, we need to clean it up and make sure the bore's okay. Alrighty, we're back. We're gonna do a bit more content on this ute. Run our new harness because we've got the Rebel. The Rebel comes with a harness, so we're just going to poke all that through. Pretty well right just to plug the engine in. We've got to mount the Rebel under the dash somewhere. We are going to put a transcooler in this area. We might look at doing that in this episode. All these lines, they've been sort of in the car for maybe 10 years. Don't really know if there's any fuel in the tank at all. So we've got enough line just to pull it all out and just replace it so it's all new. There's more fuel system in the tray, in this area. Get all that cleaned out. So I think it's got like a surge and some more pumps in there. Essentially that's just a lift pump that fills our surge tank. Once surge tank's full, it will feed the rails. Waiting on head gaskets for this engine still. But yeah, we just want to get this car ready for everything just to go in. Drop it all in and be sort of done with it. It's all been done really, really neatly with these nice little clamps to hold everything up. Yeah, got that spicy armpit fuel. Right, so there's fuck all in here, which is great. That's draining without making a huge mess now. So you can have a look at that. Just been here, pulled all the fuel lines out. You can see that the fuel system has had fuel in it, so we pulled the surge out as well. Someone's made a nice little bracket in there. Really good thing about this build is whoever did it has used a lot of nutserts. That's making everything so far so much easier. So yeah, whoever put this car together, thanks for that. Literally the nutserts are making it so much better. It's more expensive, but we always sort of opt to go with the PTFE, Teflon inner with a stainless braid. The stuff we just pulled out is a rubber line with a stainless braid. Personally, I just find I've had too many failures with that hose. That's so old now that I just have no doubt that it's likely to fail. This PTFE, never ever have I seen it fail. You put it in and it's sort of, in my opinion, it's just done. It's in there, it's for life, right? So that's one end done. Super simple. slip your nut down, push your olive in, and it all just screws together. Since I've not ordered enough 90s to finish off our fuel line project, I've got them in black, but I don't want to use black. I'd rather just wait and make it all the same and not be like sort of dodgy. That's shit. Anyway, we got this trans cooler. This is huge trans cooler. It's one of the more impressive trans coolers I think I've seen. It comes with the bracketry. Oh, they got like a push lock system. Got a little thermostat with an adapter fitting for that. Dash 8 fittings, fasteners, hose clamp, cable ties. This though is really cool. You know, like most transmissions and that have like standard hard lines. Cut your hard line and slip this over it. Pretty well go from that to AN or rubber, whatever you want to do. You can get aeroflow stuff that's prettier and does the same job. We're not going to use any of this. We've got our own stuff we want to use. So I've got to be mindful there is going to be a handbrake cable run above this as well. Alright, sticking with the trend of using nutserts. Someone's already really set the bar on this one, so we're going to stick to that and just make sure we're maintaining a standard that's going to trend with the build. You know, we don't want the car to look like it's changed hands and then someone's just tech screwed it together to get it going, right? Safety first. Drilling holes in your car? Kinda had a bit of a plan to trim this bracket and bend it up and fix it in that way. Didn't really work out, just kind of snapped off. So think of another plan to kind of utilize what's here and fix something down to hold it up. It's such a big cooler and not really a whole lot of room to do anything with. Alrighty, one step closer. Pretty simple, couple nutserts on the front, that all just lined up and worked. But it's actually quite a large unit to get under a car, we're lucky. This has a single exhaust, normally there'd be a muffler box here. We've got this extra space, so we've utilized that. Ground clearance is something to keep in mind, but not a huge thing with this car, being it is more drag spec. You can see we're sort of well above any of these kind of low points. I was gonna hopefully bend this bracket up and just sort of fix it off, but it just broke. So used the bit that broke off it actually to make this, and she's in there, it's not going anywhere. The lines will just run up into there, then run back out of here with the fuel lines that run up here. That'll all fix off together, up and along. Our trans fittings are gonna be in this area. So we're not gonna make those lines because my luck I'll make them too short and they won't fit and then I'll be pissed off. We'll do it once the box is in. So we're one step closer to being able to put an engine in this and plug everything in. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The length of this hose isn't very forgiving. It's actually sort of wedged between two hard mounted components, so normally it doesn't matter so much, but this one actually will. It's pretty close. It'll work. And there she is, in all the glory. Let's nip that up because I don't really like leaving anything loose. Wouldn't surprise me to find this pretty full of shit. Alright, little discovery. Basically, the combo that was in this car sort of went to one drag meet and then failed. This could very well have something to do with that. There was pretty well enough metal shavings in this filter housing to block off the feed to it or dramatically restrict it. Very well could be what happened. People think, oh, you just want to get an engine swap done. Like, why did it blow up in the first place? You know, there's a lot of things we need to be looking into and checking out, right? We can't just put an engine in and away you go. Come back every 3 weeks for a new engine. Cool, so the next thing we want to look at doing is this handbrake cable. It's had the 9-inch diff conversion. It doesn't look like anyone's ever put any thought into making the handbrake actually work. Airflow do this universal cable kit. Never used it. Looks pretty well the same as the Willwood one that I have used. God, there's a fucking lot of spring tension in that. Last time I did this, I destroyed the cable. I had to try and like re-wrap it back into one so it would go back through the sleeve. You need to cut these to length, so you will have to sort of pull it apart. Be very mindful not to open that up. It'll be a pain in the ass to get it back together. Definitely not the most interesting thing we've ever done. Could be educational, could help someone out. I guess it's somewhat of a review on the product too, like good infills for the channel. You'd be surprised how hard it is to actually make lengthy, interesting content. It's really difficult. We've got to get these jobs booked in for a start. Like not everyone's building cars like this. So that's our 2 cables. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do here. Factory cable, try and make that torque with the aeroflow stuff, which I haven't done. I've done this on a VR walking shore with this. We use the Wheelwood stuff, but the same really. Got an idea. Alright, here's the thought process. They give you this bracket for mounting up the end of the cable, like the front end of the 2 cables, and then they kind of merge into one. Instead of like drilling and cutting and carrying on, I think I figured out how we're gonna do this. I'll show you. So we're just gonna take the fitting out and use some washers just to clamp it into the existing kind of space. Yeah, that's sort of feeling really good already. And then yeah, this cable will route how we sort of decide to route it and into that. See how these aeroflow pliers cut it. I'm just gonna do a test piece in the end first. Try to destroy it. I'm gonna say probably not a. Nah, see it really folded the end up, like that's gonna f it. Alright, this little grinder, we're gonna try and do it this way. That's a lot better. We're just gonna repurpose this bracket, stop anything from hanging down into our drive shaft. We would have even it anyway, but that looks pretty good actually. Next step in all this is get this cable, feed it through these things that will make it actually kind of pull on the handbrake area. And then we're gonna feed this back through our cable. Don't cut it until you've already pushed it through. You don't want to be trying to push it through after you cut it. I don't think it's got a handbrake in it. Oh, I'm gonna go pretty overboard here and nutsert this in. It's actually a little bit ridiculous, but whatever. We got the gear, so let's just do it. Someone else has done such a good job, I would hate to discredit that by doing a shit job. It's so easy to get stuck in the routine of tech screwing and cable tying, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but then you get a build of this caliber and you kind of forget that you can also do things another way. It doesn't necessarily have to be cheap and easy. Cheap doesn't even mean nasty. There's nothing wrong with tech screw and stuff like this. It's rewarding to see someone's putting that extra effort though. So far this is where we're up to. These I need to tighten off, which I'll do next. Got this bracket bolted in, holding the lines from sort of dropping into our tail shaft tunnel too much further. We did nutsert it just to stay with the trend. P-clamp and nutset there. Not gonna be an issue. Good thing is suspension has very little travel. Don't have to worry about that. Alrighty, it's the next day. Got to just keep chipping away on this VU. Sort of juggling this between a heap of other jobs. Today alone we've got diesel remap, supercharged VE to tune, cam package getting finished up that we got to tune. I broke my TIG, so I get that back today after finish the intake on a VX. So sort of doing this in between a heap of other projects as well. Definitely a bit of a juggling game. Pretty excited to announce that we are sponsoring the Banaraby Dragway. Made some donations and we're actually donating new signage for their burnout screen. So I've got a tech going out there today to pick all that up. We're gonna bring back, restore them, fit it out, make it ready for them. Chucking all these sorts of things in the mix make big projects like this a little bit hard to manage. So much going on in a build like this, you kind of think that you might have ordered all the fittings that you needed and then you get into the job to find you're missing. I think right now, so far, I'm missing like 5 fittings. So, you know, that's another order we got to do. That's another $30 freight I got to pay. It's hard to kind of orchestrate everything works together. Anyway, we'll take a quick look at what we have achieved. Got some Haltech stuff here. We might unbox that. Drained what was left out of the tank. Found it was pretty gross. You have to flush it really well. It had 98 in it. We're gonna put it on ethanol just because we really want to give it a hard time. Got a transcooler in. Again, really happy with this install. Handbrake cable's in. This is the Aeroflow universal handbrake cable kit. Managed to get that all to work. Got to maintain the adjuster, which was a big thing. I really wanted to make sure we had good adjustment of the cable. As much as it is a race car, here in our shop, we really want to make cars functional, practical. We don't want to take away from the streetability if we can avoid it. So the next job is this harness here. I don't know what this harness used to plug into, but we're not using it, it's got to come out. Alrighty, so that's a quick update on what we did get done. Anyway, this is our stuff we've just got from Haltech. We're going to be installing in this car. So first of all, we've got the Haltech, the Rebel LS. This is the first one we've actually had and installed in the shop. We've done a lot of other Haltech products, but this is our first Rebel install, so pretty excited about that. I got 3 Rebels to install. So we went from doing none to needing to do 3. This is a look at the Rebel LS. We'll have to make up a nice bracket and mount this up. And I'm sure there's probably heaps you can buy, but we're capable of making them, so we will. So they give you bolts to mount it. That's super handy. So many products come and there's no real way to mount them. That's a really good start. There's nothing worse than having to go to the bolt shop to buy 4 bolts. Cable, antenna, keychain, couple stickers. We all love stickers. So we got the LS terminated harness, Haltech can keypad, just so we can have some race functions and add in some of the fun stuff. We've got the UC10 display to go in it. Yeah, the first UC10 that we've done. Really excited to install this and have a bit of a play with it. So I've just pulled the interior out. If you know anything about Commodores, you know how terrifying it is to pull out like VT, VX, VU, any of this shit without it breaking. Seriously, almost impossible. We got it out, it's not broken. I actually just cannot believe it's not broken. So just for reference, here's a look at like what we're doing. Taking away the race pack, which again is a really good unit, but for what we want to do and to suit the style of the car a lot better, this is going to be aesthetically far more pleasing. I don't really know what's been done already, which having all this out has actually helped us to have a look at what's going on in here. All the ignition coils we mounted in here. Right, so that's the loom through the firewall. I've sorted through a little bit of what we kinda didn't really need on the engine side of the firewall and just kind of poked it back through. Everything else has been left really long, so once an engine's in here, we can plug it in, pull it back through, shorten it up if we need it. Yeah, I think we'll end up with a really tidy finish. Let's take a look at a few things. So this timing cover here, we're not going to be using this. We've actually got something pretty cool coming for it, a nice billet piece. It's actually been custom made for this job. Show you that when it gets here. Thing with these, do have to clearance them a fair bit to make them fit over the double row timing chain. The amount of arguments I've had with people about double row chains not fitting, that's why they actually just don't fit. Another good reason we pulled it down. You can actually see the oil pump O-ring, pickup O-ring is not actually even sealed. This engine would have had no oil pressure. That would have just sucked in a whole heap of air and not made enough oil pressure, and would have taken the engine out. Whatever they packed the oil pump with has gone dry and crusty, so that's needing to be renewed. So I've just taken this oil pump apart, which is a pain in the ass because they use little Torx bits and one stripped out, so I had to drill it, but whatever, it's apart now. Someone's packed this full of whatever sort of assembly lube that is. We don't. I normally just prime them with a bit of engine oil, and I've never had a problem with them priming, so it's not really worried me, but there's nothing wrong with what they've done here. It's just that the color of it is showing me that some parts are quite hard and crusty, especially if you look like in the corners there. As much as it probably would have been okay, I'd hate for that to get into a lifter or something and just create a problem. Nothing's moving like freely and nicely the way I'd like it to. And I think a bit of engine oil will come through and wash it and make it okay and break it down, but sort of 20 minutes to pull it apart and clean it, I'm happy just to do that. Sort of know that oil pump isn't something we have to worry about. I'm gonna quickly ball hone the bore in that, on whatever cylinder it was kind of nasty. Get that looking nice again, mask it all up, paint it black, and then it'll be ready to go back together. So I've just run the ball hone down this cylinder that was looking not so flash. Pretty good result. It's still got like the kind of outline of, you know, what was going on. It's lucky it was so far up the bore. Put the piston to the bottom and do it in there. We either just sort of give it a run and see what it does, or tear the whole engine down and start, you know, from fresh based on a maybe. We'll give it a go and see what it does. And, you know, the worst sort of case I can see coming from that would be burning a little bit of oil, being a forged engine with quite a large, you know, piston to bore clearance anyway, closer to a race spec engine. Not a car it's going to drive very often, and I just don't think oversizing a full set of pistons, balancing an entire rotating assembly is going to be worth it just for that. I think it'll be okay. Alright, quickly gonna wrap this one up. We're about to lose another battery. That's all painted. Once that dries, I'm gonna give it another coat. I think we have everything here now to get it all the way together. Car's pretty well ready to accept an engine, so I think we might call this episode 1. We'll get this all edited, put out to you guys, and then might be a couple of weeks, but we'll try and get some more together and out to you. Cool. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you again soon.